are gonna get crazy!
Most everyone's mad here.
And we are about to officially begin. Welcome, folks, to another exciting round of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. And what a special occasion on this episode in particular, because this is not usually something that I would normally do, because usually for this show, I would have to go and work with what I have with the recent news that we would have this week. But it seems that for this one, though, we actually have a very specific theme going on. They all have something very much in common, and it's not necessarily related to where they're from or who is featured in it, but specifically, the theme for this episode will all make you go ask the one big question: did anybody really ask for this? Because trust me, for most of the stuff that we have here, you will see things that have been announced, that have been updated, or there are certain things that will make you question about the projects that I will be talking about, and will make you wonder, did anybody ask for this? Like, does it really need to exist? But you'll know what I mean when we will go and get into the actual show itself. So, with all that said and done, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I would like to ask you all, are you ready for today's episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, folks? Let me go and hear it right now. Are you all ready? Say it out loud! Or at least write it in the comments, you know? Just, you can't really say it since, you gotta type. Or type out loud, at least. Make some noise with your typewriters. Alright. Anyways, or with your keyboard. Alright. So it looks like, everything is all good. Everybody is ready. That is great to hear. And now we can officially go and get this one started. And with our first story that I have right over here. Now, it's actually pretty funny that we should go and start this one because as a Canadian, it is a pretty special occasion this weekend because for the first time in literally months, we actually got a big movie release in theaters, which in this case, it's actually the SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run. And for those of you who are curious about my videos and if there is going to be a review coming out, yes, I am currently working on a review right now, and hopefully pretty soon I should be putting up the finishing touches, or at least this weekend I will put the finishing touches. And by the way, yes, I can guarantee you that I was 100% safe during my viewing experience of the SpongeBob movie. I made sure to put on my mask at all times while in the theater, except for when I would sit at my seat, because at that point I'm allowed to take it off and just eat my popcorn. I made sure I practiced social distancing at all times. I kept my hands clean using a lot of the sanitizers whenever I can. But most importantly, I will say that I know that I was safe during my experience because practically nobody was there. The cinema, I kid you not, was almost empty. There were like 4 other people that were watching it with me and my friend while checking out Sponge on the Run. So, like, it did really help a lot to be safe when there isn't much people to distance yourself from in the first place. But we're not here to go and talk about Sponge on the Run. We're here to talk about a spin-off series coming from SpongeBob. And by the way, thank you, Yummy119, for the subscription. But back to what I was talking about. Yes, we're talking about a SpongeBob spin-off series that's going to be coming up. And no, it is not Camp Coral. Keep in mind, Viacom CBS has several ideas that they have in mind. And the one that I am talking about specifically will be The Patrick Star Show. Yes, it's time for SpongeBob to set himself aside because now it is Patrick's time to shine. And Nickelodeon has officially announced that they are going to give Patrick his own show, which he will still be voiced by Bill Fagerbach. And at this point right now, apparently they already got the first draft of the first season done in terms of the writing. So they already got a script written down for the first season, and as I am recording this, they are starting to do the voiceover session. So they got the actors all together to go and start recording their lines. But in terms of what the show will be about, it's not necessarily enough to say, oh, there's going to be a show about Patrick. Okay, well, what's it going to be about? Well, they decided to put in a little bit of an interesting twist to it. Now, reading from my source here on Deadline, apparently the show states, according to sources, the Patrick Star Show is in the veins of the Larry Sanders Show and Comedy Bang Bang, with Patrick hosting his own late-night talk show. I hear the series would revolve around Patrick and his family. Fagerbach is being joined by a largely new cast of voicing new characters, with SpongeBob cast members expected to make occasional appearances, reprising their roles. And so far, from the looks of it, it looks like this one will be coming to Nickelodeon. Like, they are officially going to put this on television and not necessarily just on CBS All Access, because that is pretty much what happened with the first announced spin-off series, Camp Coral, where originally it was supposed to be coming out, I believe this year actually. They wanted to release Camp Coral on Nickelodeon, but I guess some last-minute changes had occurred where it left them with no choice but to put that show onto CBS All Access for Viacom CBS's big streaming service, and that is largely due to their plan with Sponge on the Run, which that one was supposed to be released this year in theaters all around the world, but because of the pandemic, they decided to heavily delay it to early 2021, where in America, it's only going to be released in premium video on demand, so Americans wouldn't even have the chance to actually go and see Sponge on the Run on the big screen. So I'm probably one of the lucky few who might have actually done that, if I would toot my own horn on that thing. But anyways, going back on the Patrick Star Show. So now we have the newly announced Patrick Star Show that's going to be happening. So Patrick is going to have his own show, and more specifically, apparently he's going to be running his own late night talk show. And I'm gonna be honest, I guess, like I said, considering that this is the theme of this episode, and this is going to be something I will be repeating quite often on this episode in particular, honestly, looking at the concept and stuff like that, all I can ask is just, do we really need this? Did anybody really ask for this to happen? And I will go and explain right now my biggest flaw with this concept in particular, because I'm going to say this right now. I know there are going to be a lot of people, probably some have already done so in the chat wall, where they would go and put out their speech regarding Steven Hillenburg, because I think at this point, we all know about the big spiel about Steven Hillenburg, that he never wanted spin-offs in the first place, but Nickelodeon waited for him to die so that they can go and unleash all the spin-offs that they want and stuff like that, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, I get that. I know that. But I am going to say, maybe a bit controversially, that I'm not entirely opposed on a Patrick Star show. Like, at least a series, a spin-off series starring Patrick Star, I'm not necessarily opposed to that. If Nickelodeon would have thought of a great idea, like a great concept for Patrick to have his own series, and that the tone of it could have his charm, and the tone of the show could stay true to the reasons why we love Patrick in the first place, then I feel like it would probably be an interesting show that could actually stand well on its own, that it could be, a prominent and successful spin-off of SpongeBob SquarePants that even SpongeBob fans would actually enjoy. I can definitely see some ways that you can work. Like, as vague as the idea would be of a Patrick spin-off series, there are ways that you can legitimately make it work. But this one right over here, I am not down for, honestly. I mean, like, the concept is that they're giving Patrick a late-night talk show. And the reason why I'm really turned off by that is because I don't know about you, maybe it is just me, but I can't help but feel like we've been starting to get way too many of these fictional talk shows. Rather it be the whole show itself runs like an actual talk show, like the whole format of it, or like the show itself would be about running a late night talk show. I feel like we're starting to get way too many of those. And case in point, like a great example to show you how it's starting to be a bit oversaturated is looking at the works of Jim Henson, because that really does seem to be a massive thing that the Jim Henson creations are really diving into, but like all in terms of their past, present, and future, like all recently, by the way. Like you got what's happening right now with Sesame Street, where on HBO Max you got the Not So Late Show with Elmo. Then there is Disney Plus, which pretty soon they're going to have an original creation from the Jim Henson Company called Earth to Ned, which I believe they recently announced that's going to be coming out on September 11th. And then in the past, you had the Muppets doing the exact same thing. It's pretty much exactly like the concept that is described here for the Patrick Star Show. Like, you guys remember the 2015 Muppet series? It pretty much kind of sounds exactly like this, except with the Muppets, they have their own spin with the whole office approach to it all. But again, like even with that show, technically, the 2015 Muppets is about the Muppets getting together and trying to trying to run this late night talk show that stars Miss Piggy. And then we got this, which it sounds like the exact same thing. It's just like you take a beloved character that everyone knows and loves, and you have them try to run their own talk show. Honestly, it just sounds like a dull concept that's already been done way too many times before. Now, I know that there might be some people right now that might think that maybe I'm already getting a little bit too harsh right off the bat, considering that the only thing that we know is literally just this. And I mean, it's still like way early in development right now. And I could be wrong, of course. This could turn out to be a pretty solid and pretty legitimate show. But I don't know. It's hard to really get down into this kind of concept where it feels like this is an old concept that's starting to be done again and again and again. And it really does feel like Nickelodeon is just trying to jump into the trend of these fictional late night talk shows. Now, I do remember there was at one point that I saw, like, I did post this on social media, like, already expressing these thoughts, like, earlier this week. And I saw there was a little bit of a thread or a little bit of a discussion between some people, specifically on Twitter, where they did mention that technically even this would work, but only on a short format. And I will give them credit. I forgot their names. I do apologize for that. But, they do bring up a very solid point that technically there is a way that you can make it work, but only in a short format. Like, if you do, like, little, like, 3-minute videos or 5-minute videos that you just post on YouTube, or that you post, like, quick little things during the commercials, like, little 1-minute things, 1-minute shorts that you would air during the commercials between episodes of like popular Nick shows, that could potentially work. That could be a cute little idea that you could run with. But doing an entire half-hour series where you would have Patrick try to run a whole talk show with his family and with new characters and stuff like that, I don't know. It feels like I'm already getting into something that I've already looked into like tons of times before. Like not just on TV shows, but also in movies as well, where they're doing the same thing. And it's starting to feel a little bit repetitive. And I think that's what I'm more against. It's just the unoriginality and the repetitive nature of this whole concept of trying to approach it as like trying to run a late night talk show. Again, I could be wrong, and this could possibly turn out well, but I don't know. It's just, for me, I feel like it's hard to get down to. I'm not against the whole idea of making a Patrick Star series, but this whole concept here of running the late night talk show, I'm sorry, but I just really can't get down with this. It's not something that I would necessarily be interested in. Even as a longtime SpongeBob fan, I wouldn't be immediately gonna go and jump onto the Patrick Star Show. Now, technically, there is no official release date because, again, they are still in early production and they're only at the point where they're just starting to record the lines. Like, maybe we're not going to see this until, like, much later in 2021 or 2022 or, heck, maybe even 2023 if they need the time. But it's just, I don't know. This is not a great first introduction to the Patrick Star Show, so... I don't know. Like, this is something that I just feel like I have my massive doubts. And again, did anybody really ask for this? Did anybody really ask for a Patrick Star spin-off series? Honestly, I just don't know. Okay, so with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall. And now I would like to go and ask you all, what do you all think about the Patrick Star Show? Do you disagree with me a bit and you think that's a great idea and you're excited to go and check it out? Or you're not interested in this kind of idea and you think it would have been better off if it didn't exist and you want to give it a pass? Let me know what you all think about this, because I'm sure this will bring up a lot of interesting discussions. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. As against the SpongeBob spin-offs as I am, I'll be honest, this does sound like a fun idea. It's honestly kind of fun seeing fictional characters have their own talk show and interviewing people. Hell, it worked well for Phineas and Ferb, and it's currently going okay for Elmo. I'll probably give it a go, but of course, no matter how it goes, it could be worse. It could be as bad as Planet Sheen. Okay, so that's interesting. So so we do have some interest in it, but, yeah, like, maybe we could be in a bit of a disagreement. Like, yeah, there could be some fun ideas that they could work with it, and I mean, technically, with this series, it does sound like they'll focus more on the behind the scenes of the talk show than the actual talk show itself, but, I don't know, it's just... for me, I just feel like the whole concept is just a little too repetitive, that we've already been getting way too many of these fictional talk shows desperately trying to be like the next Space Ghost Coast to Coast. You know what I mean? So, like, maybe we could be in a bit of a disagreement there, but hey, if you're on board with it, then, like, I'm definitely not going to stop you. So, and who knows, maybe you're the one who's going to be right, and this could turn out to be fun. Let's see now. Ignoring the elephant in the room on Viacom milking SpongeBob, talk shows hosted by fictional characters don't have the best track record. Yes, Space Ghost Coast to Coast has an undeniable following, but do I need to remind the world of Alf's hit talk show? Yeah, that was a thing, and we don't like to talk about it. Yeah, even I forgot about that thing, and yeah, you do bring up a good point. Like, it is true that some of the fictional talk shows that we have seen recently, like, they, just like the previous comment said, like, there are some prominently good examples, and they can be fun, of course. But then again, there are also times when it doesn't work. It's not impossible that fictional talk shows could end up screwing themselves over. So... yeah, like, I don't know how this one is going to go, and who knows, maybe when the Patrick Star Show will be released, like, people will already feel sick and tired of, like, too many of these fictional talk shows, so I guess we'll have to wait and see on that. Let's see. What else do we have here? With all the SpongeBob spin-offs that Nickelodeon is making, like a Camp Coral spin-off, Squidward spin-off, and now a Patrick spin-off. Oh yeah, that is true. They did it. I'm trying to remember, like, what was it about that Squidward spinoff? It's like some kind of Netflix spinoff that they want to have Squidward be on this musical adventure or something like that. But then again, I guess with the announcement of CBS All Access, that, like, it wouldn't surprise me that they would want to move that Squidward series onto CBS All Access. But again, we'll have to wait and see. Anyways, this one I will keep an eye on because Patrick is the funniest side character of the series. Well, if you don't count episodes after season 6. I think Nick is trying to copy the success of the Not So Late talk show with Elmo from HBO Max, but I could be wrong. I'm glad he's getting his own show, so he could prove the whole world that mayonnaise is an instrument. Okay, some people might get a little bit of the wrong idea. Guys, it's not real, like, you gotta keep in mind, like, a big thing about this, like, maybe you're not familiar with either Comedy Bang Bang or The Larry Sanders Show, but this is not going to be about the talk show itself. You gotta think of that, like, a better comparison is the 2015 Muppets, where it's going to focus a bit more on the behind-the-scenes element and the crew making the Patrick Star Show, more so than the actual talk show element in itself. Hold on. Just need to clear my throat there a little bit. But yeah, I just need to go and make a little bit of that clarification. Because yeah, technically there are ways that you could just focus on the talk show element in itself starring Patrick, and that could go out well just fine. But keep in mind, it's less the actual talk show and more the behind the scenes thing. I just need to go and clarify that. Let's see, what else do we got here? I have nothing against this show, but I'm not too thrilled about this news in my opinion. Ignoring the fact about Steven's passing, but with this, the supposed Squidward spin-off coming to Netflix and Camp Coral, it seems that Nickelodeon, especially the head of the company, Bryan Robbins, is milking the SpongeBob brand until it's completely dry. Yeah, honestly, this is kind of the negative influence that we are seeing from shows like The Simpsons and Family Guy or even South Park. The fact that there's just no stopping them throughout the course of their lifetime, and even still going on to this day, which really does put out a very negative influence to animated series where like apparently they think that there's no expiration date. They think that like ending a popular series would seem like a bad idea more so than it is good, which has been proven wrong many times before. I mean, case in point, like shows that have purposely ended even during the height of their popularity, a lot of them are still fondly remembered to this day because they have ended. You know, shows like Avatar: The Last Airbender or Gravity Falls, for example. Like, at least they have a narrative where they know where they want to do a beginning, a middle, and end. With SpongeBob, it just feels like something that it doesn't end, and it really is because of the influence of shows like South Park and Family Guy and The Simpsons, where there's just no end to them, and they don't plan to end them anytime soon. It's almost like a toxic mentality for animated series, at least toxic in the creative sense. Let's see, what else do we have here? I may like Patrick in the early seasons, but honestly, this is not a good idea, and all I can say is, have you learned nothing from Planet Sheen? All I see from this is another spin-off bombing, and I prefer if Minerva Mink from Animaniacs getting a proper spin-off, since she won't be in the Animaniacs reboot, but I digress. I feel Nick is only marketing for SpongeBob, and no other show, Harvey Beaks being giving a poor treatment, ringing a bell. Yeah, and I mean, like, that could also be something that could heavily influence the show that could end up costing its quality as well. It's just the fact that, yes, like, one thing I forgot to mention here is the fact that technically the crew behind the Patrick Star Show, and I mean like the actual people making the series, it's going to be mainly from the same people that are currently working on SpongeBob SquarePants. But then again, you could definitely, like, it will definitely hinder the series if this is something that feels like it's developed by executives that they just want to have as many spin-offs as possible, more so than it actually is an idea from the creative team where they felt like this is such an amazing idea and that they really want to go and pursue it. So that's just one thing that I want to go and emphasize, that this could be something that could really screw this franchise over, is that audiences are not dumb, and they could tell if something is corporately manufactured than something that is a creatively great idea thought up by the team that would make these shows. Alright, I'm gonna go and read one more comment before we jump into the next story. Let's see what we got here. Who else would be? Oh, okay, there we go. I honestly have nothing to say anything about this. Okay, next thing. No, just kidding. Not because I hate it, but just like you, I am wondering why this needs to exist. maybe it would work better if either they made Squidward the main character to play the straight man to the weird character in SpongeBob, or they made it absurd and crazy like the Eric Andre show. Yeah, and you do bring up a good point. Like, maybe that is kind of the direction that they want to go. And I mean, considering how overtly over the top the current seasons of SpongeBob are right now, maybe they'll do the same thing with the Patrick Star show, that they'll make it as absolutely crazy and over the top as possible. But again, we'll only know once we know that the series is ready, and like maybe when we would get a trailer or when it would officially be released, which it won't be for a few years. I guess we'll have to wait and see. For now, like, maybe for now, I'll be open to thinking that maybe this could turn out to be a solid series, but I just have my doubts on this, and I can't help but ask, do we really need this? Like, do we really need a Patrick Star spin-off series? Okay, so for the next story that I have over here, what we got is another Nickelodeon series. Technically, not really. Well, okay, it's a little bit complicated. Originally, it's a Nickelodeon series, but now it is going to be turned into a Netflix live-action series. And yes, what I am talking about will be regarding the live-action Netflix series of Avatar: The Last Airbender. And it felt like it's been a while since we've heard any form of updates regarding what is going on, especially when it seemed to have a lot of promise, especially when the original creators of the series are also on board in the project as executive producers and also showrunners to make sure that the live-action series stays true and honors the spirit of the original series that it's based on. At least, that's how it was until this week when it was revealed they are officially out, or that they have decided to go and quit. Now, what I am reading here is going to be from the official blog of one of the creators of the Avatar series, Michael Dante DiMartino, where he has written an open letter to the fans of Avatar: The Last Airbender, giving a very significant update regarding the live-action Netflix series, announcing that he and Bryan Konietzko have officially quit the project. So I'm gonna go and read it all to you. Okay, so it says here, many of you have been asking me for updates regarding the Avatar live-action Netflix series. I can finally tell you that I am no longer involved with the project. In June of this year, after 2 years of development work, Bryan Konietzko and I made the difficult decision to leave the project. When Bryan and I signed on to the project in 2018, we were hired as executive producers and showrunners. In a joint announcement for the series, Netflix said that it was committed to honoring our vision for this retelling and to supporting us on creating the series. And we expressed how excited we were for the opportunity to be at the helm. Unfortunately, things did not go as well as hoped. Look, things happen. Productions are challenging. Unforeseen events arise. Plans have to change. And when those things have happened at other points during my career, I try to be like an air nomad and adapt. I do my best to go with the flow, no matter what obstacle is put in my way. But even an air nomad knows when it's time to cut their losses and move on. I started to reevaluate what is truly important in my life and what I wanted to do with what's left of it. I took some advice from Uncle Iroh. I looked inward and started asking myself the big question, who are you and what do you want? I also sought wisdom from Stoic philosophers who were big on differentiating between what is within our control and what isn't. I realized I couldn't control the creative decision of the series, but I could control how... Ooh, excuse me, folks. No, by the way, Michael did not write a burp. That was just a bit of my improvisation. Accidental improvisation, by the way. Anyways, where was I? Yes, okay. But I could control how I responded, so I chose to leave the project. It was the hardest professional decision I have ever had to make, and certainly not one that I took lightly, but it was necessary for my happiness and creative integrity. And who knows, Netflix's live-action adaptation of Avatar has the potential to be good. It might turn out to be a show many of you end up enjoying. But what I can be certain about is that whatever version ends up on screen, it will not be what Bryan and I have envisioned or intended to make. I also wanted to be clear that this doesn't mean the end of my involvement in the Avatar universe. These stories and characters are important to me, and the renewed interest and excitement in Avatar and Korra has been inspiring to me. Writing this letter has left me with a very heavy heart. I know many of you will be disappointed and frustrated by this news. I get it. I share your disappointment and frustration. I also recognize this creative setback is small compared to the problems we are all facing as a society right now. Thankfully, Iroh offered some wisdom for that too. Sometimes life is like this dark tunnel. You can't always see the light at the end of the tunnel, but if you just keep moving, you will come to a better place. May we all keep moving and come to a better place. Thanks for reading and for your continued enthusiasm for the Avatar universe. With gratitude, Michael Dante DiMartino. So, long story short with this blog is that Michael and Bryan has quit the live-action Netflix series of Avatar: The Last Airbender mainly because of creative differences, and from the looks of it, they seem to have parted in bad terms. However, there was another website that actually clarified regarding 3 reasons as to why they ultimately ended up quitting the project, like going a little bit into detail. Now, I just want to go and say that with that website in particular, apparently it's called fandomwire.com, and that is not a source that I am fully familiar with, so I cannot really say if that is a fully legitimate source, if it's actually true with what they would say. So honestly, I would just consider it as a rumor for now and just take the information with a bit of salt. But it is still important to go and share if it is true that these reasons would actually be the case. Now, reason number 1 why Michael and Bryan quit. Apparently, it is due to the budget. Michael and Bryan wanted to have a bigger budget for the series, but Netflix would not allow them. Okay, that is reasonable, that is understandable, and that is extremely common. In fact, that would probably be the most common reason for a show to, or for people to bail out in terms of projects in the entertainment industry. This is something that unfortunately happens all the time. So, okay, yeah, the budget, that I can pretty much understand. Number 2, the possibility of having white actors involved. Michael and Bryan refused to have any white people to be involved with the cast of the show. But Netflix wanted to go and open up the option for the auditions, which they heavily refused. Now, I can understand this is a bit of a divided argument here, because there might be some people that might find this to be a little bit racist, but in a way, I can understand a little bit on Michael and Bryan's side on that decision, because number 1, they don't want the franchise to go through the same kind of backlash like they did with the M. Night Shyamalan movie back in 2010, because there would be some of the controversies related to that movie is regarding some whitewashing. And number 2, thinking about the context of the whole franchise of Avatar: The Last Airbender, or at least during Avatar Aang's section of the whole story, it is true that when you do look at the different tribes, like the Water Tribe, the Earth Tribe, the Fire Nation, and the Air Nomads, like with all of those, they are all heavily influenced by Asian cultures, by a variety of different Asian cultures, with maybe the exception of the Water Tribe that are more based on Inuit cultures. So in a way, yes, by putting white people in any of the roles, it would legitimately seem like whitewashing. So it's more for the sake of like heavily avoiding any form of whitewashing controversy. But then there is reason number 3. And these two pale in comparison compared to the third one, and apparently it is stated to be the biggest reason of them all, where apparently Michael and Bryan wanted to stay true to the tone of the original series, have it be more family friendly, and also have more of a comedic edge to it. But Netflix does not want that. Apparently what Netflix wanted is that they wanted to turn Avatar: The Last Airbender into something that's a lot more mature, something that they want to take a lot more seriously. And one of the big things that they want to do is make the characters a lot more older, like over 18. So that way, they could go and get away with actually making the scenes a lot more violent than they already are, include a lot of blood during those violent moments, and to really amp up the romance so that they could go and include some sex scenes. Yes, apparently Netflix wants to add sex onto Avatar: The Last Airbender. So, again, I just want to clarify though, with those 3 reasons, I'm just counting them as rumors for now, so still, you gotta take that with a bit of a grain of salt, so there is a chance that this might not necessarily be true. But I can definitely say right now, as someone who is a fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender and would consider it one of Nickelodeon's best shows out there, honestly, this is very, very, very concerning. And funny enough, it's not just me who is a major fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm also with a group of friends whom they also really love Avatar, and I decided to share this news with them, asking them regarding their thoughts and their opinions, like, now, how is it that they view this upcoming live-action Netflix series of Avatar: The Last Airbender? And their response is actually very interesting. Of course, there are some that, like most people, they are completely turned off now by the idea because, well, the creative heads or the people that made Avatar are no longer in the show. They left in bad terms due to creative decisions. So it obviously leaves a very dark omen to this upcoming series and would, of course, give a lot of doubt if the show would actually be good or if it would even be worthwhile in the first place. But then again, there are some others, some of my other friends, where they're still actually pretty open to this series, that they are still considering that maybe this could still turn out to be good. Because the thing is that a lot of the arguments that people would make, like a lot of the major reasons why they would have their doubts for this live-action Netflix series is mainly due to their past experience with the 2010 The Last Airbender movie directed by M. Night Shyamalan. And I mean, let's be honest, it's perfectly understandable why people would have their doubts after experiencing that movie, where you don't need to be a fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender to understand how that movie is just absolutely terrible. But even with that experience, technically, it is true that if there would be flaws with the series, they're not going to go and repeat the same problems as the 2010 movie. Because one massive problem, like one of the many problems with the movie, is that it desperately tried to cram an entire season, they try to take book 1 and try to cram it all together in less than 2 hours or even 90 minutes, try to just make it feature length. And of course, narratively, it would just turn out to be an entire mess. But the thing is that right here, they're working on a TV series just like its original source material, so there's no way they could really go and repeat the same mistakes again. And plus the fact that this is going to be made by an entirely different team. So the thing is that chances are, if it would have flaws, then it's not going to be the same, or it's not going to be as severe as the ones that you would experience in the movie. So they do bring, like, my friend has brought up a very good point with that, and technically, because the creative heads are, like, the original creators, they're no longer involved with this series, that doesn't necessarily mean this is going to come out as a bad show. I mean, even Michael himself has stated that there is a chance that the show could come out pretty well, and could come out the way that fans would actually like and would actually go and enjoy. So there is still that chance. But then again, like, if I would go into my opinion and my gut feeling about this, Honestly, I would side with the doubters on this one because it is never a good sign when the original creators of the show, who are originally going to lead the project, had to go and ultimately bail out due to creative differences. And this doesn't seem like, oh, we decided to leave, but we're still happy with Netflix. No. Like, they are upset with some of the decisions that Netflix wants to do with Avatar: The Last Airbender, and that's ultimately why they left the project. Maybe not necessarily left the entirety of Netflix, because they still gotta go and work on the Dragon Prince, but when it comes to this, of course they would have their serious doubt. Of course, fans would now have their serious doubts where things are not gonna go well in the way that Michael and Bryan originally visioned, which their role essentially is not just to be the executive producers and to be the showrunners, but they're also there to make sure that it stays true to the original spirit of Avatar: The Last Airbender. And one thing that I will say, one thing that I would want to comment is regarding the rumors of the reasons why that they would go and bail out, and with especially regarding with the decision of trying to make this more mature. Alright, now if it is true that Netflix wanted to turn this into a more mature series to make it more like their version of Game of Thrones, then honestly, I don't mind the whole violence thing. I don't mind the blood thing, because there is some of that and some intensity on that onto the original series already as it is. But one thing that I really do have to go and question is, why the sex? Like, why is it that you need to implement sex onto Avatar: The Last Airbender? Yes, I get you want to try to go and make them more older so that, yeah, you wouldn't have, any of the controversial or any of the taboo elements of the fact of, have you considered the age of the original Avatar characters and stuff? Anyways, going back to what I was talking about, the thing is that I don't really see a point, or I don't really see what they would gain by including sex scenes in Avatar: The Last Airbender, especially when the original series has already made a strong establishment regarding some of the romance aspects of the show, especially regarding Katara. Is that really the big thing that they want to do? Is it because Netflix has watched the original series and that they just felt like a strong urge that they need Katara to get laid? Is that the whole point of this? Is it really because they just want to see Katara get laid or something like that? I don't know. It's just like thinking about the series, it's still hard for me to understand what is it that they would gain by having sex? What is it? How will sex improve or expand upon the lore of Avatar: The Last Airbender? I really cannot think of anything. Unless maybe you want to do something with Sokka and maybe get a piece of the princess before she would go and turn into a moon, during the end of season 1. Maybe you want to go and do that. But honestly, it's hard to really think about it, honestly. The thing is, what I'm trying to say is that unless you're a unless you're a lewd artist and you make not safe for work art, you want to make Rule 34 art, I really do not see the point of making the characters of Avatar: The Last Airbender over 18 and have them have sex. It's just, I don't get it at all. But again, that is something that is still considered to be a rumor. But overall with this, yeah, for me, in my opinion, I now have a lot of massive doubt with this live-action Netflix series. It's obvious that they're gonna go in a different direction than what the original creators wanted, and the fact that Netflix has upset the original creators with some of their original ideas, I just can't help but feel like we are kind of repeating history a little bit. Honestly, I'm starting to see a little bit of a similar patterns to what we are seeing with the M. Night Shyamalan movie. Now, technically, this is a case that, what happened with the 2010 film, it's not necessarily as severe as this, because technically Michael and Bryan were not heavily involved with that movie as much as they were with the Netflix series. But there is a moment that you could tell that, Bryan and Michael wanted to offer their advice. They wanted to give some help onto the movie. But then when the more that they saw the creative decisions being developed, the more that they knew that they had to ultimately bail out. And it's the same thing that we are seeing right over here. Maybe in terms of the problems, they're not going to come out the same way as the 2010 film, but yeah, it's just like, honestly, it gives me doubt and it gives me fear that I'm seeing history being repeated a little bit, and that this live-action Avatar Netflix series is mostly going to be all for naught. So, yeah, overall, this is just giving me massive doubt regarding the series, and I don't know if this is something that I would want to really be excited about, especially if those rumors turn out to be true. So, yeah, I guess ultimately we'll have to wait and see. Maybe I'm wrong. The series could turn out good, but this is not a good sign for sure. Okay, so with that said, now I would like to go into the chat wall, and I would like to ask you all, what do you all think about the recent news regarding the live-action Avatar The Last Airbender Netflix series, and that the creators decided to quit? Are you still curious to go and check this series out? Are you still on board with it? Do you still hope that the show would be good? Or do you think that there is no hope at all for it, and this is already a sinking ship? Let me know what you think. Okay, let's see what we got here. What do you have to say, folks? Let's see. Since when, hold on a sec. Oh, here we go. Since when were Netflix execs wanted more creative restrictions for their shows? I mean, didn't they allow BoJack Horseman... Oh, fudge nabbit. What's going on? Sorry. It's just the chat on Twitch. Like, it keeps jumping up and down. Like, I'm trying to gain control of it. Anyways, I'll repeat the comments. Since when were Netflix execs wanting more creative restrictions for the shows? I mean, didn't they allow BoJack Horseman and Dark Crystal Age of Resistance a lot of creative freedom for their developers? Is Netflix becoming the new Nickelodeon, a company that often restricts some creative freedom with their shows? They've been doing that since SpongeBob's pre-production days. At least Cartoon Network has been allowing lots of creative freedom since their What a Cartoon days. I mean, you never know. I mean, times would change. Yes, I mean, of course Netflix would often have a strong reputation of giving a lot of creative control to their filmmakers and stuff, but I mean, with the new times and maybe with new executives, that could possibly change, where Netflix could slowly but surely mold themselves back into the old executive viewpoints, where, yeah, maybe there is a chance that nowadays we could see less creative freedom within the realm of Netflix. But then again, you got to keep in mind that is still a rumor. But well, then again, it's not really a rumor, because it is true that they had to leave due to creative differences. And that could be, yeah, honestly, no, it's not a rumor. That's actually kind of a fact. That's exactly what happened. So, yeah, but you never know. Like, maybe that could be the case where, like, slowly but surely we are seeing Netflix allowing less creative freedom for their filmmakers. And this could be a very strong case, honestly. Like, with new, like, I mean, executives would often switch around, and you never know who's going to be the new head of the company. So maybe, like, there have been some recent switches where, like, now the recent executives are not fond of creative control as much as they used to. There could be that possibility. Let's see. This whole situation is just unfortunate. I know we'll always have the original, but come on. My experience was already low, but holy F. Yeah, some people are already seeing this like abandoned ship. Okay, let's see. This was the only reason I was curious about this show. It's scary that maybe Netflix wants Avatar The Last Airbender to copy the success of The Witcher. We don't need another TVMA version of a beloved Nickelodeon icon. But if that's the case, toss a coin to your bender, oh Valley of Plenty. Yeah, that could be the case. You never know, man. And I mean, like, one thing I want to add is that technically I have heard plenty of rumors that within Netflix, right now they are actually pretty desperate in trying to create their own major franchise. And when I say major franchise, like Netflix is desperate to have like their own Star Wars or to have their own Game of Thrones. And you never know, maybe they want to try to do that with Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is why there are those rumors that they want to try to make it more mature. So there is that possibility that could be a massive influence in the creative differences that they have with the original show creators. Okay, so let's see what else we got here. I'm going to be honest, as someone who grew up with the original animated series and consider it my favorite Nicktoon and one of my favorite shows of all time, I was a bit optimistic about this series because the original creators were involved. But now that they left, I am honestly dreading this series and believe this could be a massive disaster because it's live action, and I do not trust Netflix with this because of their bad reputation of adapting animated properties into live action. Yeah, that is a very good point, and they don't, like, to be fair with Netflix, they don't necessarily do a lot, but when they do, whoo boy is it a wild ride. Case in point, take a look at Death Note, or their adaptation of Death Note, and yeah, that thing was quite a wild ride, and I mean, like, yeah, as much as people love the idea of Willem Dafoe as Ryuk, other than that, oh boy, it's, yeah, it's one of those rare cases where the live action film is more, the live action adaptation is more over the top and cartoony than the actual cartoon itself. It's one of those cases. Okay, let's see now. Alright, here we go. So, it wasn't just that the trauma of 2020 that creators needed to break. A smaller budget sorry about that. Let me redo that. So it wasn't just the trauma of 2020 that creators needed to break. A smaller budget when a lot of computer animation would be needed for the bending, potential whitewashing because they couldn't be asked to search for Inuit, indigenous people, and Asian kids and teens, and making it edgelord feel. Oh yeah. Oh, so that's a good reason for them to want to say screw it. As for sex scenes, I blame Zatara shippers and love triangle obsessed media. Yeah, you never know. that could be the thing. I mean, I guess DeviantArt isn't enough for those Netflix executives. They really want to bring that to life. And I mean, like, that, you know, that just would sting a little bit. I would not want that for Zuko. Like, at the very least, like, even for Zutara fans, like, can we not have sex scenes for the sake of Zuko? Because if you're gonna add if you're still gonna stay true to the series and you still want to add sex scenes, then it would just be really douchey where you just end up with one random sex scene with Katara and Zuko, and then suddenly Katara still ends up with Aang. Like, come on, that's a bit of a douchey blow, and like, already just by saying that, I really do feel sorry for Zuko. So there is that. Dude, no sex scenes, at least for the sake of Zuko. All right, let's see now. Pardon me, but Netflix trying to make Avatar like Game of Thrones, sure, this could turn out good and even expand on things that the original show didn't explore as much, perhaps even fixing some of the issues with the original show, like how they handled romance. And I can understand the budget issue considering the bending, but did Netflix not think anything about the whitewashing? Now, if you excuse me, I need to get the mind images of the Avatar characters having sex erased immediately. Yeah, go do that now, dude. Go do that now, man. I mean, technically, they want to have like the adult version of the characters get laid, but yeah, that's not really something that you need. Like, oh god, like, imagine like any influenced sex scenes, like getting some enhancements, like, oh god, imagine like they want to try to do something after like the cactus juice scene. Drink cactus juice, it'll quench ya. Nothing's quenchier. It's the quenchiest. Or no, not even no, there's only one thing that's that'll definitely be quenchier than cactus juice. It'll be a wet ass P word. Oh boy, okay. I'll go and do one more comment before we jump into the next story here. Regardless how I personally felt about the idea of this Netflix series, I am someone who is strongly opposed to movies and shows getting canceled while in development just because of fan raging, but I do respect Michael and Bryan's decision. Still, I am dreading seeing the sparks fly in the series turning out not so great. But if there is a bright side, is that all of this talk of this series did get put back into the spotlight and is closer than ever than being cemented. Yeah, you do got a point. I mean, like, at least there will be something out of it than nothing. So, I guess there is a way that you can look into the bright side of this. Alright, so, moving on to the next story, we got a bit of a bonus miscellaneous on this one. We're going to be talking about a live-action project. However, in a way, there is a little bit of a connection to animation because technically, this is considered one of the most revolutionary movies regarding computer animation, where it really did advance a lot in terms of computer animation as we know it today, or like really get the ball rolling to have computer animation be prominent into mainstream movies as we know it today. And what I'm going to be talking about is going to be another Tron movie. Yes, beforehand, there have been some rumors spreading around that Disney might consider to do another Tron movie. Not only that, but also to have one that would star Jared Leto. Well, it seems that this week, this news has officially been confirmed that not only Jared Leto is going to star in this Tron 3, but also that they found a brand new director, which in this case is going to be Garth Davis. Now, in terms of the people that are involved, also, one thing I did forget, like, not only do they have Jared Leto as the star of the movie, they got Garth Davis as a director, but they also got Jesse Wigatow to go and help out with the most recent draft of the writing, with the script of the movie. So they do have something planned with this feature, so we do know that this Tron 3 might legitimately be happening. But, in this case here, I would like to go and say that when it comes to Garth Davis, it is going to be interesting to see him jump into a major big budget franchise movie or a big budget blockbuster by a major studio. Because when it comes to Garth Davis, beforehand, he would do smaller indie films. And a lot of them are actually highly praised as well. Case in point, take a look at his 2018 movie Mary Magdalene. Or there is another one, the 2016 film Lion, which actually got nominated for several Oscars, including Best Picture. Now, at this point, we don't have any other confirmation with how things are probably going with this project. Apparently they are saying that rumor, well, in my source here on Deadline again, they are saying that apparently insiders still stress a green light has not been given yet, so we don't fully know. Like, they're just gathering the materials before starting to construct a legitimate movie. But I have heard rumors regarding what is the possibility of this movie, like what is the story, and apparently it could legitimately be a sequel to the second Tron film, which I believe is Tron Legacy. Tron, yeah, if you guys remember, back in 2010, Disney tried to bring back the relevance of Tron by trying to create Tron Legacy, which that ultimately it did not turn out well. But for now, that's pretty much the position that we are in right now, is that apparently, yes, Disney is considering to develop a movie based on Tron, and they got Garth Davis as the director, and they got Jared Leto as the star. Now, one thing that I will say is that there is no denying that Tron is a pop culture icon. In terms of movies, it's probably one of the most iconic features out there, especially with its sci-fi aesthetic, or especially with the world of Tron, is something that has been renowned by many and why people really do admire the feature to this day. And this is not to mention, like, not only the art style of Tron, that they decided to make this entire computer-based world, but also there is, as I mentioned before, the computer animation in there. This is one of the first movies that heavily implements computer animation, or like really emphasize the CGI, like debatably having more CGI than actual live action in it, and really really bringing computer animation to a brand new level, like, as I said before, to really get the ball rolling, to have mainstream be very prominent and be mainstream among big budget blockbusters, where it's impossible to think about nowadays of a movie without any form of CGI to go and enhance the feature. Nowadays, it's like all over the place, and a major part of it is because of Tron. And even if you do look at it nowadays, yeah, some people could debate that there are some parts that might look a little bit primitive, but in terms of the computer animation, they really did work within their limits, and it does still have a bit of a timeless feel to it, funny enough, even though this is technically supposed to be this video game world per se, or really this is the one that, like, I guess you could say this is also a massive step forward to help bring excuse me. Just need to let that out. But to also let out video games to be pretty prominent onto the mainstream, and that you can show that there are some major worlds that you can develop in terms of stories using video games as like a massive plot point. However, there is one thing that I want to say regarding the original Tron, the 1982 film. And maybe this is going to be a bit of a controversial statement, considering that it does have a prominent cult following. But there's one thing that I need to say about Tron is that I think when it comes to most people in the public, they like the idea of Tron more so than they actually like the Tron movie itself. Because if you actually do watch the Tron movie, like, yes, a lot of the visual elements are very much admirable. But in terms of the story, in terms of the writing, in terms of the characters and the engagement about the narrative, it's not really that strong. What I'm trying to say is that Tron, even though it's renowned for its visuals, it's not really that well known for its writing, even though you do see references all over the place, and even Disney prominently using Tron everywhere. Like, even in video games, where you see some of the aesthetics inspired in Kingdom Hearts and in Epic Mickey. You also see, like, coming soon at Disney World, there's going to be a Tron ride that they've already made in Shanghai Disneyland. And even in some movies, they've made a bunch of references, or even some TV shows that made a bunch of references. Case in point, Ralph Breaks the Internet has already done a Tron reference. And from there, like I can understand how people really like the idea, because the big thing that people remember the most about Tron is the world of Tron. We all know about the world of Tron, but not many people would remember about the plot of Tron, the story of Tron, or even the characters that are featured in Tron. In fact, I remember watching a podcast of Double Toasted, and they talked a little bit about this as well. And they mentioned a very good point, that one of the biggest mistakes about Tron Legacy is that while they were trying to reboot the franchise, the biggest mistake is making that film a sequel. And if there are any, and like, considering that we are in an age where Disney loves doing all these reboots, technically a reboot of Tron would be a brilliant idea, so that they could go and reintroduce the franchise to a new audience and have the opportunity to fix many of the errors that the previous feature has done in the past. That would actually be a great idea. I mean, like, yeah, they're going all crazy with the reboots. Why not do one of Tron? I think it would be a pretty solid idea to go and do so, especially if they really want to go and show off their CGI. I mean, that's another major mood that Disney is in right now, especially with films like The Jungle Book and The Lion King. Why not do something with Tron? Like, that, that would be a great reboot. I would be down with that. But again, the thing is, what I'm trying to say is that I really can't help but feel like people love the idea of Tron more so than they do the movie itself. And that's why I honestly do have a bit of my concerns with this movie in particular. And this might be a controversial opinion, but I need to ask, did people really ask for this? Are there people out there who really went out and tried to ask for another Tron movie or another follow-up to Tron and have it be like a continuation to the first movie and Tron Legacy and stuff like that? I mean, you look back at Tron Legacy, and it's something that even audiences have expressed that they're not really that interested, since that movie turned out to be a bit of a box office bomb. So bringing this back again is just, I have a little bit of my doubts. And I mean, this is not to say I'm against Garth Davis being a director. I mean, like, of course he has done some amazing work, especially with Mary Magdalene and Lion, but especially one of my biggest concerns is mainly with the involvement of Jared Leto. Now, I know that Jared Leto can be an amazing actor, and he has provided some great performances throughout his career. But the thing is that I can't help but feel like Jared Leto is one of those actors that does well with minimalism, where the smaller the budget of a movie is, or the smaller the movie is, that's when Jared Leto is able to go and really stand out to give out a beautiful performance. But when you would go and put Jared Leto on a big budget feature like Suicide Squad, for example, then you would ultimately come out with what is agreed to be the weakest on-screen Joker. Not on-screen Joker, like, maybe that's a bit too much, but, like, probably the weakest cinematic Joker. I think it's the best way to put it. Now, say what you will about the 2019 Joker, but you gotta admit, the thing is, Joaquin Phoenix's performance is just incredible. And yeah, maybe the materials that he's been given is full-on garbage, but his acting is just beautiful. And you could tell that he can make a great and threatening Joker as well, that, like, yeah, he'll be a bit of a joking kind of guy. And yeah, like, he could definitely be wrong in the head, but he could still give out a beautiful performance and really take those elements of Joker where you could kind of make him sympathetic but, like, really threatening at the same time, where, yeah, it's more of a Joker that you would take seriously instead of laughing with. But with the one in Suicide Squad, with trying to make him more of a pimp than actually the Joker, it's a Joker that you really cannot take seriously, and not in the way that probably the filmmakers or the executives would want. And honestly, right now that he's also going to be starring in Morbius, like, there's already a lot of people that have serious doubts on that one. And in the case right here, I don't know if I could really trust Jared Leto on a big sci-fi, big-budgeted Disney film like another Tron movie, which is rumored to be called Tron Ares, apparently. So I guess we'll have to wait and see on that. But overall, honestly, with all this, I just feel like I have my massive doubts on this, especially with the fact that they want to go and expand what they already have with Tron, more so than actually creating something new with Tron. Instead, like, honestly, in my opinion, I feel like the best direction that they could go with is to go and reboot Tron. I think that's the best direction that you can try out with the franchise, so that you can reintroduce the concepts and that you can fix up the mistakes of the old story, and actually make it better so that people can finally understand the world of Tron and actually be on board with the characters and the narrative and all that kind of stuff, to also be on board with the writing as much as they are on board with the visuals. But right now with this, again, I have to ask, is this something that people really want? Like, I know there are people that would want another Tron movie, but is this really what people want? Do people want more of the Tron that we know right now? More like stuff like Tron. Oh, actually, hold on, scratch that. I just saw the chat wall, and and apparently one person has brought up Tron Uprising. Okay, at that point, that is actually a great idea. Like, oh my god, with Tron Uprising, I almost completely forgot about that, and that is debatably probably the best thing that ever came out of the Tron franchise. Yeah, it's a series that did not necessarily last long, but it was a series that actually did get massive praise, and even the visuals are actually very solid as well. Like, from the clips that I've seen of that thing, it's actually a very fascinating series that really did a great job expanding the franchise and also having a narrative that you could be on board with and having characters that you could relate and support. You know, honestly, have something that would be more in line with Tron Uprising. That would be a great idea, actually. Like, why not expand, like, instead of expanding the Tron movies, why not go and expand what you got with Tron Uprising and really go from there? I mean, Disney has the potential to make, like, another Star Wars franchise where they can grow, where they could take that animated series and really grow from there, kind of like what they are currently doing right now with stuff like Star Wars Clone Wars. So I don't see why not, like, be more influenced with Uprising more so than with the movies. But with this direction that we have here, if they really are going to be more staying true to the original films and try to expand that, I don't know if that's honestly something that I would want. Yeah, this is going to be a visual spectacle, and maybe, again, like, I have to keep on repeating this, but I could be wrong, and this could turn out great. But honestly, I don't know if this is really something that I would really want. I don't know if this is something that I would fully be on board with. So overall, yeah, I don't really know if this is, I honestly, I just need to ask again. Is this something that people really want? Do we really need a Tron 3 right now? Do we need another Tron movie? I don't know, guys. It's just really, I don't know. But maybe you might know, and maybe you have an answer for this. So I would like to go into the chat wall, and I would like to ask you all, what do you think about the new Tron movie, or the potential third Tron film starring Jared Leto and directed by Garth Davis? Do you guys want another Tron film? If you guys are a Tron fan, let me know if you actually want this. Let me know what you all think about this one. Okay, so, let's see. I'm excited for this mainly because of the CGI and see how far it has improved, and with the director and the main star, I just hope they do well, and hopefully Kevin Flynn come back in this one, and the characters from Tron Legacy to come back as well. Okay, so, yeah, of course, like, there's no denying that fans of the movie franchise will definitely want to be on board with that as well. But I don't know if they really are going to go and continue Tron Legacy per se. Like, maybe they will, but then again, it is kind of a box office flop, so you never know if you could really trust it or not. We'll see. Let's see now. What else do we have? As somewhat of a Tron fan, I am genuinely interested for this. Sure, the plot of the movies may not be that interesting, but it has developed a look all on its own. Heck, with how our technology has evolved and developed, we could possibly have a unique story that could have something to talk about the positives and the negatives of technology and how we use it. But regardless if the plot is good or just meh, I just want one thing in this movie: bring back Daft Punk. Oh yeah, that is true. Didn't they make a cameo in Tron Legacy as well? Like, I think that was a thing, since, like, since Daft Punk already looks like they already look like they came straight out of like something from Tron. But yeah, like you do bring up a good point. I mean, like, of course, if people want to go and see this, it will mainly be about the visuals. And honestly, I can't blame them. Like I said, the aesthetics of like the artistic aesthetics of Tron is highly admirable. And again, it's one of the most renowned visuals in cinematic history. And I mean, yeah, like even I will admit, like, the visuals of Tron are just absolutely beautiful, and they are very much inspiring to create this technology based virtual world. Or in a way, you could say that it really did define the look or define the meaning of what is a virtual world. So there is that. Let's see, what else do we got here? Okay. What are they? What are they going to call this? Tron reboot? But in all seriousness, I don't really have that much experience in the Tron franchise other than seeing Legacy once. So yeah, not sure how to feel about this news piece. Maybe if this gets greenlit, I'll give it a chance. Maybe. Also, yes, they should reboot Tron. That would be freaking awesome. And as for the casting of Jared Leto, 2 words: Suicide Squad. In conclusion, very mixed about the whole piece. Yeah, I think, you know what? You actually nailed it best. I mean, this is something that it's very mixed. That's the whole thing. I can't fully say this is fully negative, and I will admit, I'm more on board with this more so than I am than with the Patrick Star show. But looking at this, it's just, honestly, there are some great things about it, but there's also a lot of bad things about it. So it's just like you got a massive mixed bag and you don't know which direction to go. And that's why, like, it makes me feel a bit unease when seeing this news. It's just, it's honestly a case that I look at this and it's like, I don't fully know how to feel about this. All right, well, let's see what we got here. I have not seen the first 2 Tron films, but I don't know if I want to see another. I think it's time for the franchise to receive a soft reboot. Maybe this movie would be good or not. We would have to wait and see if I ain't to see it or not. Yeah, well, yeah, I think it ultimately is a kind of wait and see kind of thing. Let's see, what other comments do we have here? All right, I'll go with you. Nowadays, it just seems like the movie entertainment industry just has the most bonkers ideas to reboot, continuations, and spin-offs, where we can see ways for how certain ideas can work. But from what described to us, we are compelled to ask, do we really need this? Of course, it's all in the matter of experience, but it's a weird world we live in. But I've had enough of all this Hollywood doesn't do anything original anymore. When they do, when they do, you just have to look a little bit harder. Yeah, that is a good, that is a good point. I mean, the case is that, like, we do have to go and try to keep an eye out for some original content if we really want to go and ask for more original content. I mean, technically, we could be talking about how Disney is making all these reboots and sequels, but then again, like, we don't talk often enough about some of the original things that they would try to go and put out. Like, case in point, just recently on Disney Plus, they have released the one and only Ivan. Maybe it's not that great of a movie, but then again, at least Disney is trying to put out something original, so at least you can give them that. Alright, I think I'll go and read one more comment before we jump on to the next story now. My thoughts on the first 2 Tron movies is that it has cool visuals, but the story itself feels absolutely forgettable at best. In fact, I don't remember one thing that's worth memorable after seeing this. For the 3rd film, I really don't want it due to finding it forgettable at best. With Jared Leto starring, I have my doubts with his performance after watching Suicide Squad and the trailer of Morbius, since I find him way over the top, so it's a no for me. And you know, honestly, with the factor of Jared Leto, that could actually be one thing that, believe it or not, I feel like it could screw the movie over. As you could tell by some of these comments, there are a lot of people that don't trust this feature on the factor of Jared Leto alone after his mainstream appearances with Suicide Squad and so far what we have seen with the trailer of Morbius. So ultimately, maybe having Jared Leto on board as the star could be one thing that could actually end up screwing this movie over. Maybe he'll give out a decent performance or not. Like, it'll all depend on the materials that he's been given, but as you could tell, audiences don't necessarily trust Jared Leto with mainstream movies. Yeah, he could do a great job with small indie films, but give him a big budget feature to star in, and yeah, a lot of people will end up with their doubts. Okay, so now moving on to the next story, we're actually going to be staying in the realm of Disney, and with this one, actually they do have a little plan to do a reboot. Well, maybe not necessarily a reboot, but they want to have a bit of an homage to it. They want to go and decide to pay their respects to a little cult favorite special that they have in mind. And considering that we are a few months away from the holidays, it is now time that we are going to be talking about the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special. Yes, you heard it right. Disney Plus is soon going to be, well, not necessarily soon, they're going to put it out in November, but Disney Plus is going to be releasing a Lego version of the 1978 strange cult following, the Star Wars Holiday Special. Now, technically, this is not going to be a direct adaptation. It's not going to be exactly like the Star Wars Holiday Special, but in Legos. It's actually going to be a combination of several different Christmas stories, where they're going to take elements from a Christmas Carol, not just from the Star Wars Holiday Special, but they're going to take elements from A Christmas Carol, they're going to take elements from It's a Wonderful Life, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and even Christmas Vacation. And as you could tell from the image that we have here, it's not going to be with the original Star Wars cast, but rather, this is actually going to be a continuation of the sequel trilogy. In fact, this is going to be set after The Rise of Skywalker, in which we will have characters like Rey, Poe, Finn, Rose, and BB-8 come back. In fact, to read you from my source here on USA Today, the story of it, it is said here, the Lego Holiday Special, which executive producer Josh Rims teases will feature a few Star Wars movie actors reprising their roles, catches up with the cast after the events of last year's saga closing the Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Rey and droid pal BB-8 head off on a quest to gain a deeper knowledge of the Force, but their visit of a mysterious Jedi temple sends them careening through time and space. Rey interacts with Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Yoda, and other characters in some of the franchise's most beloved moments as they try to return in time for a Life Day feast with her friends on Chewbacca's Wookiee home of Kashyyyk. And we do have some quotes, by the way, from Josh Rims talking about the whole thing. He said, now apparently Lego, he did say that apparently there will be moments where not only the heroes but the villains are also going to be collaborating together. Like Lego versions of Emperor Palpatine, Darth Vader, and Kylo Ren get to hang out together. It's really hilarious with what's going to happen with those guys. So apparently they will promise hilarity will ensue. And he also mentions it becomes much of a different take on a teacher and apprentice with more seasoned Rey and a younger Luke. So that's pretty much the main thing that's going to be going on. They're going to do a whole homage to the Star Wars Holiday Special, telling different stories of renowned Christmas movies like Christmas Carol, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Christmas Vacation, and all that kind of stuff, with the sequel trilogy characters interacting with some of the original characters in the past, all in Legos. It's just a giant mishmash of just random elements all coming together. And by the way, I just would like to go and mention that technically, this is not going to be the first time that the Star Wars franchise will recently acknowledge the existence of the Star Wars Holiday Special. There was actually one instance where Life Day actually got referenced. If you guys have seen The Mandalorian, then you might have remembered about the beginning of the first episode. You might recall about the Mandalorian's first bounty. It's this, you might remember this blue guy where apparently he rescued him, almost getting killed at a bar, just to end up, taking him to his ship and stuff like that. But you might remember that the blue guy just really cannot shut up. He constantly tries to make small talk with the Mandalorian, but it does get annoying a little bit. But then, there was actually at one point where he was trying to escape or trying to kill the Mandalorian when he decided to go down, where he decided to go on the lower deck of the ship, and he told the Mandalorian, can we make sure we get over with this quickly? I want to make sure I make it with my family in time for Life Day. And that was a moment that not only people were freaking out about first seeing the Mandalorian, but they were freaking out because he legit made a reference to the Star Wars Holiday Special. Now the Star Wars franchise is being more open and more accepting that the Star Wars Holiday Special is indeed canon. And now they are pretty much going all out with this. They're pretty much gonna go all out and fully embrace the Star Wars Holiday Special, which, by the way, if you guys have not seen it, I'm just gonna say, I remember I've seen it years ago, just for a quick little AniMat watches, and I can definitely confirm it is absolutely bonkers. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that would still debate if it is one of the worst things to ever come out of the Star Wars franchise, but it is undeniable that it is one of the weirdest things, or possibly the weirdest thing to ever come out of the Star Wars franchise. Especially when half of the dialogue, you could say, consists of nothing but Wookiee wars. Wookiee roars. Yes. Okay. I don't know. I kind of said that wrong. Okay. But yes, half the dialogue consists of nothing but Wookiee roars, considering that technically the main characters is actually Chewbacca's family. Chewbacca, I think Chewbacca's wife, Chewbacca's kid, and an elderly Wookiee. I don't know if it's his dad or if it's the wife's dad or something like that. But it's just weird experiencing several scenes of just no joke, that is legit a legitimate recreation of several scenes that you would find within the show itself. And it's a trip. Holy crap, it's a trip. And apparently it's one of the few things that I believe George Lucas has regretted in making. And he has done a lot of regrettable stuff. This is the guy who did, he's perfectly fine with stuff like Jar Jar Binks, with Howard the Duck, with possibly Strange Magic. But this, though? Oh boy, man, this is something that even he would go no, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know if I made a holiday special. Please don't ever bring that up again. But yeah, okay. But anyways, it is just a weird experience. But going back into this Star Wars holiday special, honestly, looking at this, I don't think this is going to be as bonkers as the Star Wars holiday special, mainly because I'm just going to say it right now that I could definitely see that this is going to be a thing that it is going to be pretty much intentional that they want to make this kind of this goofy comedy in a way, mainly because it's not just Star Wars, this is Lego Star Wars. And even long before the Lego movie established it, Like it's mainly because of stuff like the Lego Star Wars franchise, or like Lego Indiana Jones, or Lego Lord of the Rings, or whatever. Like really starting with Lego Star Wars, they were the ones that fully establish the self-awareness and the parody or satire mentality onto the Lego franchise. Like Lego Star Wars did it long before the Lego movie ever did. So with this in mind, you could definitely tell that they just want to try to make something a little bit goofy. And like the thing is, they're adapting the Star Wars Holiday Special, so it really is a case where they pretty much know what they're doing, and it's more of a case that they just want to go and have fun with it. In a way, you could say that this is going to be a little bit more of like a kid-friendly version of the Star Wars specials that Robot Chicken would go and do. You might recall, like with Robot Chicken, they've actually done several of those where they would make entire specials just dedicated to Star Wars, and that's it. And I feel like it's going to be the same thing right over here, where not only are they going to be self-aware of the fact that they are Legos, but they are going to be self-aware of the fact that, like, many of the elements from the Star Wars Holiday Special is going to be ridiculous. Not to mention maybe satirizing elements from Star Wars itself as well. So it's mostly going to be just this cute little thing that people who are fans of, many of these Lego stuff, like, not necessarily with the Lego movie, but fans of, like, Lego Star Wars, or, like, the Lego series that are not necessarily connected to the Lego movie, like, maybe they will go and have a kick out of it. So, honestly, I do see this as something that's more maybe for kids, more so than it would be for, like, longtime fans of the franchise. Or maybe, like, yeah, maybe it is something for the fans, but something that fans won't necessarily take seriously. But then again, it is Legos, and I could see kids more indulging in this more so than Star Wars fans. So, like, honestly, I'm not really that crazed up about it, even though it does sound absolutely bonkers. Like, the reason why I'm not flipping out over this, more so than I probably would with the Star Wars Holiday Special itself, is that this one seems like it knows what it's doing more so than the Holiday Special, because I think that really is the key into the madness of the original Star Wars Holiday Special, is that in the special's mind, they legit think that they're just doing a casual, heartwarming holiday special. They think that what they're doing is fine. But in this one, however, I do get the feeling that with the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special, they're definitely going to know what they're going to do. They definitely know the intentions of what they're going to do with the whole special. They know they're just going to have a goofy, fun time, and they're going to be a little bit satirical, but they're not going to take themselves seriously at all. So there is that. Personally, I haven't really watched anything from Legos that's not associated with the Lego movies. Like, I believe, is there a Lego Star Wars series? Maybe there is, but I don't know. But yeah, I know it'll be a thing, but I guess we'll have to wait and see with how things will go. But one thing that I do hope, if that really is the case, like, if it is actually true that they are going to go, like, if they are going to be putting this on Disney Plus, which they will, one thing that I do hope is that maybe, just maybe, Disney can go and release the original Star Wars Holiday Special onto Disney Plus as well. If that's not the case, then come on, guys, we need to go and make this happen. I would love to see the Star Wars Holiday Special make an appearance on Disney Plus. That would just be insane. Oh my god, please. Like, you know, just rewatch it. Like, you know, you don't have to scatter around the internet. Just go on Disney Plus, and Disney will just prominently have it there for the whole world to see. Because, I mean, you're gonna have the Lego version. Why not have the original, Disney? Come on. You gotta give us that Lego Holiday Special. Oh, man. But yeah, but if you guys are curious to go and check out the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special, it is going to be coming soon on Disney Plus on November 17th. So, with that said, now I would like to go into the chat wall, and I would like to ask you all, what do you all think about the LEGO Star Wars Holiday Special. Is it something that you guys would be interested in checking out? Are you ready to go and see this holiday special just out of curiosity's sake? Or is it more something that you don't really care all that... Ooh, excuse me. Is it something you don't really care all that much and just want to give it a pass? Let me know what you all think on this. Alright, so, what do we have here? It sounds cool, and it being in Legos can be a good, but can be good, but George Lucas has not been thinking well, calling Strange Magic a Star Wars for girls. But it can be good, because if they bring back the old characters, it will possibly be good, and also, it might be in stop motion, or at least look like in stop motion. No it's not. I'm just gonna say that right now. Keep in mind, what we are dealing with is LEGO Star Wars. It has no connection to the LEGO movie whatsoever. In fact, Disney is not legally allowed to have this be in the style of the LEGO movie, because technically that was Warner Brothers' thing. So they can't really do that. So it's mostly going to be in the same league as what we would often see in the LEGO Star Wars video games, or like any of the non-LEGO movie LEGO entertainment stuff, if you know what I mean. So just want to go and emphasize that. Let's see what else we got here. Pretty much the only reason I'm excited is the fact that A, it takes place after Rise of Skywalker, and B, they will include cast members throughout the sequel trilogy. Other than that, I am a massive fan of LEGO Star Wars, so you can bet your Wookiee that I am going to see this special. Oh, okay, so this is definitely made for you, so glad we got someone who's excited for this. Let's see, what else do we got here? Disney! I see this as a bomb, enough said. A LEGO Star Wars Holiday Special sounds like a horrible idea, and if they actually put a restored version of the original Holiday Special on Disney Plus, people are going to riot like mad. Honestly, I might have to disagree with you on that. Like, it's pretty much has been, like, at this point, the Star Wars Holiday Special has now grown a reputation of being one of those so bad it's good things. That it's so terrible that it's actually entertaining, that it's actually a lot of fun. It's not something that people would take massively seriously and just go forward with it. Like, maybe you'll see riots coming from anti-SJWs because they get triggered whenever Star Wars would do a thing that they don't necessarily like. But other than that, though, like, you're not gonna... I don't think it's gonna be something that people will riot or as much of a bomb, you would say. So, like, it's just a dumb little idea that they're not gonna take seriously and just have fun with it. Alright, let's see what else do we have here. Let's see. What? Are they sure about this? Do they really want to bring up the Star Wars Holiday Special? I mean, the LEGO Star Wars video games and some of the shows are really funny and does satirize a lot of the things about the movies. Though right now, I'm just going to quote from LEGO Star Wars Droid Wars, red flags here. Can't warn anyone from making a tragic mistake without a red flag, big red flags. Well, then again, I might have to disagree on that, mainly because... like, you gotta keep in mind, the LEGO Star Wars franchise is more of a satire of the regular Star Wars. What is there, like, is there really anything wrong with satirizing the Star Wars Holiday Special? Especially when it seems like something that is, like, kind of, like, made to be satirized. It's, like, begging to be satirized, so is there really anything wrong with that, in a sense? Okay, let's see, what else do we got here? Alright, I'll go with this one. Well, this was unexpected. I'm actually looking forward to this mostly because I really hope they will just poke fun at how crazy the holiday special is. And for me personally, I consider Strange Magic the worst thing that George Lucas has done because at least I can laugh at how crazy the special is, while Strange Magic is just painful to watch. Actually, dude, I 100% agree with you on that. Like, oh god, Strange Magic was just godforsaken torture, honestly. Let's see. A LEGO holiday special seems like a very fun idea. I know that LEGO Star Wars specials, I know that LEGO Star Wars specials in general are very funny and often make fun of the franchise. Let's hope that George Lucas will not be mad when this will be released. Hopefully, there will be a LEGO Hanukkah special in the future. You never know, dude. That could be a possibility. Alright, I'll go and read one more comment before we jump into the next story. Fun fact, George Lucas gave Carrie Fisher a homemade DVD of the Star Wars Holiday Special as a thank you for doing the audio commentary of the original trilogy DVD release. She used it at parties when she wanted her guests to leave. Oh my god, that is actually that is actually hilarious. You know, yes, because nothing will get people running from the hills than seeing just Carrie Fisher all drugged up singing about Life Day. That could be a great way. Alright, so, with all that said and done, it is now time that we are going to go and jump onto the grand finale. And I'm going to be very honest with this one. This is actually a last minute edition. I kid you not, as I am doing this right now on Saturday, August 15th, this is actually a piece of news that just popped up right now. That actually just appeared. I don't know if you guys have heard about this. I think even on social media right now, people are still freaking out about this news. But the big thing about this right now is that this is related to something that I know that I said before, that this is all a major theme about things that we don't, like, do we really need this, you know? Like, we would keep on asking these things, like, do we need the Patrick Star Show? Do we need a Tron 3? Do we need a LEGO Star Wars Holiday Special? But in this case here, I know that this is something that we all need right now. It is now time that we will go and celebrate the shutdown of an evil entity. And I know technically some people would say that technically it would be wrong to say that, oh, we should celebrate something shutting down. And I can speak by experience that there was one time, like, I cried out for something to shut down, and understandably I did get some backlash. But in this case here, it is now time that I know for sure it is a good thing to celebrate that this is shut down. And what I'm talking about is going to be Kissanime and kissmanga. Yes, folks, it was actually revealed this morning that Kissanime and kissmanga has permanently closed their doors. It is permanently gone. You can no longer go onto those websites right now. Or you can no longer go onto those websites anymore. Now, for those of you who don't know, with Kissanime and kissmanga, those are actually illegal pirated sites. This is what many fans, or many young fans, would go in order to illegally watch anime or illegally read manga for free. And apparently, it was just this morning in the Discord server of that is specifically for Kissanime that they have revealed that they have no choice but to permanently close the doors of Kissanime and kissmanga. In fact, I'm gonna go and read you here from my source on Annie Radio Plus, where apparently the first comment, the first thing that they have stated is, our beta servers have been taken down. This could lead to closure of the website. We will make more announcements after we have the decision. And ultimately that they have stated, all files are taken down by copyright owners. Kissmanga and Kissanime will be closed forever. Thank you for your support. Thank you for all the years. And you might be wondering, why is it that now? Why is it now that these pirated websites have now decided to officially close their doors? What is it that led them to go and shut down? Well, apparently it is something that is currently happening in Japan, where now they're going to go and put in some new strict copyright laws. More specifically, the kind that would go after websites like Kissanime and kissmanga. So once again, I'm going to read you from my source here in Annie Radio Plus, as it would state. It was reported in June of this year that Japan's parliament enacted the proposed revised copyright law to expand the law to punish those who knowingly downloaded, illegally uploaded, let me reread that. To punish those who knowingly download, illegally uploaded, or pirated manga, magazines, and academic works. The revised law will go into effect on January 1st, 2021, and penalties for repeat offenders of illegal downloads will be put up to 2 years in jail or a maximum fine of 2 million yen, or both. Penalties for those operating illegal sites include up to 5 years in jail or a maximum fine of 5 million yen, or both. And in the case of Kissmanga and Kissanime, they know that they could possibly serve jail time and have a massive fine of like 2 to 5 million yen. So they know that because of those new laws, they have no choice but to go and permanently shut down their websites. Now, regarding other sites as well, because I know that there are plenty of others that are similar to Kissanime and Kissmanga, stuff like Kiss Cartoon or Kim Cartoon and stuff like that, we don't have a confirmation as of yet regarding what's happening with those sites, but we know that for now, with Kissanime and with Kissmanga, they're dead. They are shut down for good. And I think it is safe to say we all know why it is a good thing why those websites have shut down. It is because, well, I mean, there's no way around this. They are illegal. But it's not just the fact that they are illegal and the fact that technically, like, you all know about, like, the immoral aspects onto those websites as well, because basically watching content through things like Kissmanga or Kissanime would be like stealing it's literally stealing content. It's like taking the creations that the animators have worked on for a while and just basically stealing that from them so that you could just watch it for free. So yeah, that is done, that is wrong as well. But there is also the factor that, like, maybe that was my point that I was trying to say. It's like, it's not only illegal, but it's also immoral as well. Because there is the factor that technically with many of these anime fans, like, watching through things like Kissanime and Kissmanga, yes, it's the factor that you are stealing content from those creators. I mean, like, it's already bad enough that the working environment in working in animes and mangas, they have been infamously known to be poorly treated and having like little to no pay as well. But it's kind of like a stab directly from the fans, the fact that all that hard work and little reward that they would get from it, well, they would get even less reward with the fact that some fans would go and directly steal the content and just watch it on their own, just for free, just like that. Oh, wait a minute. Now I realize I know the additional thing about what I wanted to say. Not only is it illegal, not only is it immoral, but those sites are just murderers to your computers. Like, the thing is, they are some of the most shady websites that you can go into. Like, just filled with viruses to the brim. Like, even just clicking on one thing in there, already you would get Trojans, you would get malware, like almost a whole bunch of irreparable stuff on your computers, on your tablets, and so much more. And not to mention the abundance of advertisements that would just flood your computers, and even if just like random stuff that normally shouldn't be promoted to the kind of people that would go to Kissanime in the first place, because let's be honest, we know that a good chunk of them are just from teenagers. And we would often see like different ads for like casinos, but then especially, holy crap, the amount of pornographic advertisements or a bunch of lewd stuff as well. Maybe they don't necessarily they don't directly advertise porn to people, but they do promote some very suggested stuff, some very suggestive stuff. Like, really, it's kind of ridiculous when you would go into one of those websites, which I will admit, in the past, yeah, there have been times, like, I would go and check out a few things, like, to find some impossible stuff that you cannot find anywhere else. But that was like a long time ago, admittedly. But, you know, it's almost hilarious, the kind of advertising that they would go and promote, because often they would go and present some big titty anime girls and try to lure them to play whatever stupid game they're trying to promote, and even saying some weird things like, I bet you won't last a minute by playing this game. And you know, the funny thing is like, yeah, I do love my big titty anime girls, but what they would go and present there, it's honestly ridiculous. It's over the top how suggestive that they would try to go. Like, even Uzaki-chan would look at that and go like, come on, man, are you for real? Like, what the hell is this? So yeah, honestly, it's just ridiculous, the kind of advertising that they would promote, and the kind of viruses that they would immediately go and infect. So not only are you breaking the law when you're going to Kissanime, but you're also breaking your computer at the same time. And all this for what? So that you can go and watch your episodes of Dragon Ball Z or One Piece for free? So that you don't have to go and pay any form of money? No! Like, seriously, I feel like this is something that is about time that it finally happened. Like, honestly, I didn't know if there would ever be a day that this could occur, but finally, it seems like justice has finally been served, and now some action has finally been taken, that they, like, the people running stuff like Kissanime and Kissmanga, they knew that there would be consequences to their actions, and that they would have no choice but to go and permanently shut down their websites. Now, one thing that I will say, though, is that technically there could be the argument that, yes, there are gonna be plenty of other websites at the same time that will provide the same services of Kissanime and Kissmanga. That there are other websites you could go and illegally download stuff like download anime or download some mangas for free without paying any of the creators behind it and stuff like that. But at that point, though, like, it is technically true, because technically, like, you can't really cancel Kissanime or cancel Kissmanga, because there are definitely going to be people on the internet that will desperately go and try and create their own version. However, with this new law and what has happened, I think this is a really massive telltale sign that in the future, this will really show that trying to illegally watch, to go and watch pirated content, nowadays, people are going to go through a massive obstacle course where they're desperately going to go and jump from website to website, or like jump from shady website to website, possibly end up getting, possibly getting more viruses in their computers, all in a desperate attempt to see their content for free, to see all the free anime or all the free manga that they want. Now they gotta go and, like, jump through hoops and go through more hurdles, because, like, as we can see here, now the proof of, like, these websites like Kissanime and Kiss Cartoon, they're not gonna last long. They're gonna, like, honestly, their lifespan will be significantly shorted, especially after 2021, where now they're just, like, they gotta go, like, go jump through hoops. They gotta go on social media and frequently ask, quick, what's the next website? What's the new website that would have this for free? Where can I go and see this for free? Where can I see the new episode of Naruto for free? Where can I see the new episode of One Piece for free? Like, they're gonna go through all that. And they're gonna sound a lot more desperate just to go and have their content for free. So I think that really is going to be the future of watching pirated content, where now they're going to be a lot more scarce and people are going to be a lot more desperate to go and check out. Maybe not pirated content in general, but this will especially be the case with animated programming, and especially anime. So ultimately, at this point, we're pretty much at the section right now where, like in the future, oh, excuse me, but what I'm trying to say is that in the future, we're pretty much going to have no point that if you really need to have your anime fix, if you really need to check out anime, then you're going to have no choice but to subscribe to streaming services. You need, especially ones that are specifically geared towards anime. You have no choice, but if you really want to go and check out whatever latest anime is there out there, then you have no choice but to go and subscribe to stuff like Crunchyroll, subscribe to Funimation, subscribe to Netflix, subscribe to Hulu, subscribe to Verb, or subscribe to whatever that does feature anime content. And especially the fact that's going to be much more, it's going to be much more beneficial, not because, like, not just beneficial in your legal stance and much more beneficial for your computer as well, but it's also going to be beneficial for the creators since some of them do actually get a cut of the subscription fee of services like Crunchyroll and Funimation. Now, I know that at that point, there are going to be some people that will try to counter-argue what I just said here. Is like, well, they don't really help that much. They're not really helping if you would go and watch stuff through Crunchyroll or Funimation. That may be true, but one thing's for sure, it's still way better than watching something like freaking Kissanime, and that's one thing that that honestly I'm really excited to see from the anime community is the end of this massive hypocrisy. That there are these guys out there that would desperately try to go and antagonize companies like Crunchyroll or Funimation or whatever, and yet the only way that they would go and consume their anime is by watching things through frickin' Kissanime. Like, maybe they can act like they're doing it for justice and they can pretend like they care for like the creators or that they admire the show creators and the animators and stuff like that. But ultimately, if they care more about Kissanime or that they support Kissanime more so than companies like Crunchyroll or Funimation, then they do not care about any of the show creators whatsoever. They don't care about any of the people that ever worked on anime, or they don't care about the anime industry at all. They only care about themselves. And that's literally it. So at this point, now with Kissanime gone, you pretty much have no choice but to act like a real anime fan for once and actually go and consume your anime legally. Rather it be through paying through the services, or you can actually go and buy the DVDs. Like, go and import them so that you could just check it out through physical media. And that's it. So overall, honestly, I'm pretty excited that now we're seeing the end of Kissanime and Kissmanga, and hopefully we will see more downfalls of these illegal websites as well. Like, I will definitely be celebrating when we will also see the end of Kiss Cartoon. I don't know if I don't know if there is any confirmation yet if Kiss Cartoon is also going to be shut down because of this as well, but I guess we will have to wait and see. But honestly, yes, like this is probably for the best. I know there will be some people who will miss it because, like, for some this is that's probably the only way they could go and see some specific content whenever they want. But let's be honest, it really is for the best. They are horrible websites and they deserve to shut down. Okay, so with that said, I'd like to go into the chat wall, and I want to ask you all, how do you all feel about the shutdown of Kissanime and Kissmanga? Like, are you excited that it's finally gone for good, or are you going to miss Kissanime and Kissmanga? Do you have a history with it? Let me know what you all think. Okay, let's see. I wish serious offenders like child molesters, abusers, killers, etc. were all seriously penalized for their crimes as people who pirate copyrighted media. Honestly, I would disagree on that. And the reason why I disagree is mainly because for child molesters, abusers, killers, and so much more, they need to be punished much more than people who pirate copyrighted media. Like, I'm not saying that one is better than the other. I'm not saying that it's okay to pirate copyrighted media and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, like, those crimes are far worse, especially, like, when they are causing direct, serious harm to people. So, yeah, honestly, no. Those people, like, they deserve much bigger punishments than pirates, basically. People who pirate content. But then again, like, that doesn't mean people who pirate content shouldn't be punished. Let's see now, what else do we got here? Well, it's about time that these websites shut down. I definitely agree that these sites are just sick and inhumane and should be banned. The only hope I have is that Kiss Cartoon is next to be shut down. The only thing I could say about these sites is to quote Robbie Rotten, "Don't let your kids watch this." Actually, you know, the funny thing is that technically the content that they want to watch is fine. It's what's around them that's bad, like with the weird big titty anime girls that would secretly go and hand out viruses to your computers. Like, there is that as well. Let's see now. The only good thing about these types of websites is that they do usually have some rather obscure anime and manga that have no way to be watched legally, whether it be on streaming services like Crunchyroll or DVD or Blu-ray. But that single good thing does not forgive those websites for all the piracy, viruses, malware, and bad ads. I'm just glad that Kissanime and Kissmanga are gone now. And honestly, dude, I think you really did summarize that very well. Like, yes, it is true that technically, if you want to find some really rare stuff, it is true that the only way you could have accessed it once upon a time is through websites like Kissmanga and Kissanime. But does that excuse it for, like, a lot of the negatives about it? The fact that it's illegal, the fact that they put a crap ton of viruses on your computer, the fact that they put in, like, so many questionable ads? No, it doesn't. Like, honestly, it's for the best that it would shut down. I'm not saying that websites like Kissmanga and Kissanime are 100% bad. There are a few benefits to them, but honestly, it's just for the best. Life is better without those sites. Trust me on that. Let's see now. To the tune of "You Are a Pirate from Lazy Town," "Yar har fiddle dee, no more illegal anime piracy. If you do it, you'll be given a fee. Don't be a pirate." But in all seriousness, I'm glad that Kissanime and Kissmanga are shut down for good. I'd rather get them on DVD, stream, or go to ad-free websites like Watch Cartoons Online that go to any of those pirated websites. Isn't Watch Cartoons Online another one of those pirated websites? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought Watch Cartoons Online is another one of those, like, Kiss cartoons and stuff like that. I don't know, but then again, maybe it's just me. But yeah. At least it's best that it's gone. All right, I'll read one more comment before we cap this off. Now, let's see. Who will it be? I'll go. Screw it. I'll go with this one. "I hope all pirated cartoons will be shut down. Like, I would even mind. I would feel guilty of going onto the site just to watch free episodes, and that's because my provider is just slow. I still think this is the best choice. It just follows the law. Just follow the law and always be patient with what you have, and always mind control. Oh, and in anyways, mind control the temptations of watching anything that has on bad websites, especially with those horrible pornography ads. To put in those, it's just disgusting." Yeah, man. I think it's time. We'll just go and raise a glass to the shutdown of those pirates. So, with all that said, I think that should go and conclude this episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, and may I say thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for listening. It's been a blast on this episode, and hopefully we will have another great time in the next episode next week. So with that said and done, I would like to say thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for listening, and until next time, see you later, dudes.